Hi everyone, welcome to this module 3. In this session, we are having a guest speaker. His name is Prakash Kumar. He has been a social worker practicing social work from last 10 years and he mainly works in the field of child protection. He is currently working with an organization called Food Picker Initiative, which is a non-profit organization dedicated for environmental protection, child rights, and doing different kind of innovation projects which he will talk about. The Prakash has been a guest speaker for our human rights course for a long time. He has been coming in Caroline's class and sharing his experience and his work.
Right. The
Anything you'd
students
like to?
really like him and benefit from his experiences in human trafficking, which is the topic that some students are very interested in. And we all know that Michigan has a huge number of child trafficking cases. So it will help you to understand the processes of how his organization, his team work, collaborate with other team such as police, such as medical team to help. So it will be very informative, and I hope you will learn something out of this, which is very relevant to our module 3, social work and human rights.
I think very shortly he will join us. So we will wait.
Good morning, students. We are very glad to have a speaker with us today for module 3. Vikas works in India with human trafficking, especially rescuing children. He has been in our classes, my previous classes, all rights class for 2 or 3 times, and students really enjoy hearing his work. So I will let him introduce himself before we start the presentation. Okay, Vikas, welcome, and you can introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. I am Prakash. I am currently working in Woodpecker Initiative. This organization was started by one of our few batchmates, me and Nagesh, have started this session, and we are currently working on child protection in Bihar. And before going there, I would like to give my a little bit of background how we have reached here to run the program. So I did my master's back in 2011, and after completing my master's, I worked for government of Bihar, and there I was working as a young professional in one of the livelihood programs of government of India. After working 2.5 years there, I moved to Justice and Care, and since then I have been since 2016 January, I have been working in the field of child welfare. My organization, Woodpecker Initiative, have started a program called Woodpecker Child Protection Mission, where we are capacitating stakeholders working in the field, doing prevention program, creating prevention measures, which I'm gonna talk about in further in the session. So I'll take you to my presentation, and then from there, after the presentation, if you have any questions, we can take up those questions. Is that all right?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay. Just give me a sec. Yeah. Can you see the presentation?
Yes.
Okay. So basically, let's just talk about the whole foundation which we have here in Patna. So our organization name is Woodpecker Initiative Foundation, and we have mainly 4 works. One of our work is Mycology Innovation Lab, where we are working on fungus and trying to, find possible ways of, innovation. So one of the recent work which we have started is working on a biomaterial. So using fungi, using mushroom, how we can create a biomaterial and biodegradable cushioning, and basically replace and these mushrooms can be used for insulation also. So far now, in our current day-to-day activities, the kind of cushioning and insulation products which we are using is very hard to get rid of them. Their waste management is pretty none. You cannot just recycle it. So we are trying to, we are trying to do research and development, and we have developed one prototype of biomaterial where we can use it and replace it, you know, using these cushions in electronic products for the packaging. So that's one of our core work, which is led by Nagesh Anand, who is another director in the organization. Our second work is WordPress Child Protection Mission, where we are aiming to train all the stakeholders on child protection issues, as well as take up legal cases where we could provide support and litigation support to the victims' families so that they get the proper justice in the court. As well as under this project only, we are working on rehabilitation of the victims, that how we can bring these victims in the mainstream of our society. Third work is our urban forestry. We have expert team, which we, work with urban communities and teach them how to develop forest on their rooftops. And the last work is our disaster relief, which we mostly do when there is a natural calamity in the region, and we go and provide whatever sorts of support which we could do. Like 2 years back, there was flood in Chapra, and we provided food items and some clothes. During COVID, we distributed more than 5,000 bottles of sanitizer, where was had become very, very, high commodity, and the vulnerable were not able to have access to it. So these are the four work which we are currently involved in. And now going forward, I'll take you to WCPM work about the Woodpecker Child Protection Mission, which we call WCPM. And we'll see what kind of, activities we are taking up. So I'll take you through the WCPM objective. So first of our objective is to train all the stakeholders in government system on the various processes and the acts related to child protection. So when I'm talking about child protection, it's not just particularly to related to a particular crime or incident. When I'm talking child protection, it's an umbrella child protection I'm talking about. It could be related to health, it could be related to education, it could be related to exploitation. So we are trying to develop modules and train. In coming days, we'll be trying to train all the stakeholders who are somehow part of child protection, because child protection, you cannot just take one incident and call it a child protection. Child protection is a very, very big field. So we are trying to cover all the stakeholders which are falling in the program, and we are trying to develop the modules so that we can train them, so that the child protection issues can be taken up by all the working system in the government, not only by just the committees, the social welfare department, which is the structure in India. Then we are also sensitizing public in the field, in the villages, on the child protection issues, because in communities, we need to aware communities also that there are different forms of child protection, child exploitation, different form of child exploitation, which is very acceptable in our society, like beating their kids. There have been a lot of reported in villages where parents have beat their kids blue and black and blue. So these incidences also, people need to aware on this issue. What could be the processes where they can call the authorities and make sure the child is protected, and he's been taken care in a very ensuring his own rights. So while doing this, we work with government and non-government organization as well. As a part of our work, we also provide legal support to the families. We are also trying to create environment where victims are very safe to report cases of abuse and exploitation. So like for the last 2 years, I was working in Kishanganj, where we had formed adolescent school girls group, and we were basically teaching them about the incidences, and how to be be safe, So first of all, we formed this group, and we motivated these girls to come and share, their problems with other girls, so that they don't feel they are the only one who are going through it. So we created that platform, and from there we started giving them awareness on what are the child rights, what are the fundamental rights, what are the legal rights of those children, so that any incidences, if it is coming up, they know where to contact, whom to report. So we were trying to do that, and the group is still running in those area, and the girls have actually reported 4 or 5 cases where we were able to intervene and stop the trafficking to happen. We stopped it. We are also trying to create pro bono or legal aid centers for child protection cases, especially when it comes to bonded labor and child labor. The kind of sensitization we have is pretty poor. These cases never go to court for litigation, and because the kind of investigation happens in these cases, or even the people or the community see it from a very welfaric angle, that the child is poor and he's supporting his family, so it's okay, to for a child to work. But we need to sensitize these authorities also to see this sort of exploitation as their priority. And because of the kind of but less I would say less criminal, people see very less criminal activity, because there is a social obligation to support his family is there, and the background of the child is poor. So there is a social approval that, okay, this was not right, but this is not something which you can take it to the court. So that kind of sensitization among people needs to happen, that they see this form of exploitation as their priority, and they should be as concerned as they see other sorts of physical exploitation.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Hello? Can you give
Yes.
us an example?
Yeah, I'm going forward. I'll give you examples also. I'm just taking you through the slides, and then we're gonna go on the case stories. So I have 3 case stories, and I have taken different sorts of form of exploitation and modus operandi, so that people can the other people can connect, see how these things work. Forward, yeah. So I have already spoken about it. So these are some activities, like we train police officers on IPC, which is Indian Penal Code, UNCRC's Convention on the Rights of Children. CAJ Act is Juvenile Justice Act 2015, is one of the India's legal act, where they make sure that make sure the child is being given the child is given justice. POSCO Act is there if there is any sexual offense is happening against any minor. There is a special provision, and we train those stakeholders who are involved in it. Then we have education and awareness program. Like I said, in working in the field, that we create platforms where such girls, such women, or such children can come and share their experiences, then get to know their rights, and if something goes wrong, where to go, how to approach any stakeholder on the concerned matter. Then we have rescue and rehabilitation program. So we do rescue along with police. So I'm gonna talk about this also in the while I'll be sharing the case story. And finally is the prevention program, where we support the rescued person to become independent and take their life in their own hand and take appropriate decision. So these are the activities which we have been doing. Then I'll now share you 3 case stories. These are the 3 different type of destination work, so which happens when people get trafficked. So we have 3 sort of cases where I'll talk about how this form of trafficking has happened, and how we rescued the person, and how the rehabilitation process took place, and where the survivors are right now in their life.